Okay, eighth graders, here we go. I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to resize images and to send to the teacher to print in color. So if either of those things are what you want to do, keep listening. So to begin with, we need to find and open Photoshop. Now I have a shortcut down here, but you may not on your computer. So you want to go to the Start menu and All Programs, and you won't see it right away. So there's some other Adobe programs. Adobe's the company, Photoshop's the name of the product. So you're going to need to scroll down a little bit. And you're going to look for Adobe Design and Web Premium. It is the premium package thanks to Mr. Holt. So we're going to scroll down and you're going to see Adobe Photoshop. There's two different versions you can click on. They both do the same thing. It doesn't matter which. So we're going to click on Photoshop and that'll open up for us. We're going to wait a second for it to open. While Photoshop is opening, you might also want to open Chrome if there's any graphics that you're going to need, or you're going to need to email at some point too. So when you open Photoshop, it's blank. There's nothing there. So what you need to do is one of two things. You either need to make a new document or open your document. So let's find something that we're going to need. Let's say that we're going to make a new tab here, and that our board game, we need the Star Wars logo right in the middle of it. And we're going to go to Image. We're going to do image search. So this is perfect right here, this logo. But I want to make sure that I'm going to be filtering by large size images. I don't want small ones that are going to print out all pixelated looking. We want large images. So a little trick is if we go over here to search tools and we go over to size, it's going to let us search just by large size images. So now popping up are just the ones that are large. So if we click on it, you'll notice that we have 1280 by 773, and that's what our size of our image is. Anything around 1000, anything that's a higher number is going to be pretty good. So you can right click and copy this one, or what I like to do is go to view image so I know I get the full size. So this one is much bigger than the other. So we're going to click on it, we're going to right click, and we're going to copy. So we're going to copy our image here. Then we go back to Photoshop. Once we're in Photoshop, we go to File New. You could also do File Open, but we're going to go to File New. When we make a new one, you're going to notice that that's the same numbers I just told you, 1280 by 773. Photoshop memorizes the size of your last image. So if I just hit OK and pasted it in, it would be a perfect size. But what I want to do is make it the specific size I need for my game board. So I'm going to go to File New again, and what we want to do is change pixels to inches, because you're probably going to be measuring in inches. So since we measure in inches, and I know in advance that my team member said I have to do my width of 6 inches and I have a height of 4 inches. Now your measurement will be whatever your game needs. I'm just using that as an example, 6 by 4. You don't have to make it that. It's whatever size you need for your game. Now resolution, and that's your image quality. So 72 is a little lower. We like to go a little higher where it's not a huge file. So 150 is going to bring the quality up a little bit. So put in whatever measurements you need. Make sure it's inches and it's not pixels. And then you want 150. You're going to click OK. And once you have it here, you're going to paste. And a lot of people right away just start to right click, and it doesn't give them the option. They're so used to right clicking for paste. But what you need to do in Photoshop, right click does something different. We need to go to Edit, Paste. Go to Edit, Paste, or Control V as in victory. So paste, we paste it in. You'll notice that it doesn't really fit. So we're going to have to fix that. What we need to do first is zoom out. So we hit Control minus. That's Control minus. Control plus will zoom back in, but we want to do Control minus. Now, how are we going to resize it? Okay, there's no way we can resize it yet. So we need to click on this top tool called the Move tool that helps us move it around for us. Up here you'll notice that there's a button that says Show Transform Controls, and we want to click that to make sure that we have the option to click in the corner and resize our image. Now if you bring it in and you stretch it like this, that's not going to look like the Star Wars logo we know. It just looks like something that's smushed. It looks like your pizza fell on the floor. We don't want that. We want to go back. So I am going to do Control Z or Edit Undo, and it's going to go back to where it was. Now I want to hold Shift and hold shift. And what shift is going to do is lets me resize it so it doesn't get all distorted. If I'm holding shift, I get this. If I let go of shift, you'll notice that it gets all smushed again. When I push shift back down, it locks back where you need it. So that's me holding down shift. So shift is going to make sure that your logo doesn't get all stretched out. So it just barely fits when I get to the edge here. So there's our logo, barely fits, cuts off a little bit, that's not a big deal. Or we can bring it in a little bit without holding shift. It's not going to stretch it too much and no one's really going to miss it. So then when you're done, you hit enter. You hit enter whenever you change size. Always hit enter if you make some kind of movement or size change. Then we need to go up to the file menu and we're going to save it. So we pull down to save as, and there's two different ways you can save it. You can save it as a Photoshop file. Our formats are either PSD for Photoshop document or JPEG. You can choose either one. So just for now, I'll choose, wrong one. We want regular JPEG. And I'm going to change the name. I'm going to call it Star Wars. And I'm going to save it just to my desktop for now. That's fine. So I'll hit save. No, it's saved on my desktop. And this will pop up. And you want anywhere between high and maximum quality. So anywhere between there is fine. You don't want to go down to low quality. So I'll leave it there. That's fine. Hit OK. So now it's saved. I'm going to minimize it. And that's my logo from the internet. And I'm going to go into my email. And I'm going to email it to the teacher, who's me. But here's my little icon right here. I'm going to go back to Photoshop. Nope. We're going to go back to Chrome. And we want to send it to me. So I'm going to put in, my first name is Rob. So if I type Rob, it starts to pop up. If my name doesn't pop up right away, it's Rob, Antonucci for Antonucci. And you know the rest at genesiocsd.org. Click on that. And in the subject, you want to put print for and the student name, whatever your name is or your group, anyone in your group, print for student and put your name there so I know that that's something I need to print for somebody. And then you're going to hit the little paperclip button down here. To add an attachment, we go to the desktop and we want to look for Star Wars. Okay, if you ever get a list and you want to see them a little better, you can hit this button and go to large icons and we can see them all a little better here. Boom, there we go. We hit Star Wars. There it is. Now it's attached. So we're sending it to me and it has print for and your name. It has the attachment and then you would hit send. Boom, you hit send, it's send to me. Now let's say your team runs in and says, we have a size change. We need to change the size of it. So I'll show you how you can do that. We go down to this tool, which is called crop, and you'll notice up here it's already 6. We have it 6 by 2. Well, we don't want it 6 by 2. Someone runs in and says we want 6 by 3. So we're going to make it 6 by 3. If you accidentally put them in backwards and you do 3 by 6, it's going to look like this. So we change those. We make it 6 here. We make it 3 here. And look at that. That fits perfectly. That's great. So 6 by 3. We make our change. I'm going to click back on the move tool and we're going to hit crop. Perfect. Now it looks much better. So now we have 6 by 3. If your team runs in and you want an image that's much, much bigger, maybe you want it to be 10 inches all of a sudden. So now it's 10 by 4. We hit enter. So now it's going to crop to 10 by 4. So now we have it at 10 by 4. So there's what our logo looks like that. And then you save and you repeat the process. You save, you send it to me, and we'll get it printed out in color for you. Okay? Okay, let's say you have an image already saved and you want to go in it and adjust it or you want to resize it. So we're going to go to File, Open, and we want to open, let's say we already have that Star Wars logo saved. So we're going to click on that and we're going to hit Open. There it is. But we don't know how big it is right now. We're not sure. So we go back to that crop tool, or there's 10 by 4, but that's not telling, that's just helping us resize it. We don't know how big it is right now. So in order to find out how big it is, we go up under Image and we pull down to Image Size. So right now, okay, it's 6 by 4, 150 is the resolution, 6 by 4. An easy way to do it is to just type in a new number right here. We can type in 10. So, and you'll notice that this changed to 6.6, and we hit OK, and it changes the size. If it's zoomed in too much, we hit Control minus. We can zoom out a little bit. Let's say we want another very specific size after it's opened. We go down to the crop tool again. And right now I have in 10 by 4. It's automatically making it 10 by 4. Let's put in 6. We just want 10 by 6 now. So now we have 10 by 6. We go back to the move tool. We hit crop. Done. There we go. Now it fits perfectly. If you ever want to resize it within that box, I'll hit Control minus. I'll make sure that my show transform tools are on. If it's not letting you transform it, like what just happened with me there, you'll notice that the layer is locked and there's a little lock sign on here. So what we can do is just copy and paste it on a new layer within Photoshop, which is actually easier to do than you think. We want to select all of it. So select all or Control A. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it. So edit, cut, or Control X. Now what it does is it copies it and deletes it at the same time. So we're going to hit Control Paste now, or we're going to hit Control V or Edit Paste and paste it back in. There we go. Good. So now we have it on a separate layer. So now I can go in and resize it if I need to. So I'm going to hold Shift and then I can resize and put it in the middle here like that. So you can always resize if you need to. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any more questions, you can come and ask me in person. And good luck.